Well, I had fallen in love with history earlier than my teenage years, and it seemed to me that everyone who was able to accomplish something had started his or her career as an attorney. And I would say that by the time I was 10, knowing nothing about the law or what an attorney did, nonetheless, that's what I wanted for my future. So I think by learning history, we not only gain an appreciation of what the older generations have to teach us, but also it inspires us to realize that our country, not a perfect country, we're not yet matching our ideals with realities, but it's a country that always tries to achieve that. After graduating from college, I went to Columbia Law School in New York City, enjoyed the experience, and my wife was from Dayton, so I decided I would come to Dayton, study for the bar exam, and then move to Cincinnati or Cleveland. Well, the bags are still packed, so to say, and I fell in love with Dayton, and I've been here now for 62 plus years. But I've been involved with several initiatives of which I'm very proud. One is the Dayton Dialogue on Race Relations, and I've been doing that for about 25 years. The dialogue sponsors interracial dialogue groups of some 8 to 12 people, presided over by 2 facilitators, one African American, one Caucasian. And the purpose is to talk over a 9-hour period of time, spread among different weeks, where we get to know each other. We talk about our background, what were our parents' attitudes toward race, what were our experiences with persons of different races. And the purpose is to get beyond where we are now, where we can work together, go to school together, and for those of us fortunate enough to live in integrated neighborhoods, to live with one another. What we have not progressed to is that we still don't know each other as well as we should. We're all products of our life's experiences. And I've never lived the African American experience, and my African American friends have never lived the middle class white experiences. So the dialogue talks about those experiences. We share our experiences. And the goal is we get to understand each other's perspectives. What we don't spend enough time learning is why we take a given position. And the why is based on our experiences, which have shaped our perspectives. But there's more to it than just talk. At the end of the dialogue, the 8 to 12 participants agree on a community activity, what we call an action plan. because talk, no matter how liberating and exciting, vanishes into the air eventually. But if you work together on a common goal and achieve something working together, that cements what you've learned in the dialogue. I've been involved in our community's re-entry effort, where we help people coming home from prison overcome the obstacles and the barriers that returning citizens face. And the object is to help those men and women rejoin the community and to become known not by their past, but by their present potential and what we're confident will be their future successes. Tremendously proud of this because in comparison to a recidivism rate of close to 40%, 40% of the people who leave prison return within 3 years. And so many others that don't return to prison live on the margins of society because they have a criminal record, maybe drug problems, mental health problems. In comparison to that 40% rate statewide, our recidivism rate for those who have come through the office is less than 10%. I've been going into the middle schools for the last several years, talking to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in the Dayton public school system. And my impression is that it's a typical class of 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds. You have some superstar intellects. You have some that frankly would prefer to be in a dentist chair than going to school. In other words, there's very little difference between what I see in a public school class and what I see in a suburban class of students of comparable age. The difference is that the youngsters in the Dayton public schools do not have the broad horizons that suburban children have. They simply don't know that the world is out there for them. The problem is, and it's a question of poverty, it's not a question of race or religion. You either have non-intact families, or you have intact families where the parents are so consumed with the necessity of being able to put a roof over the family's head or put food on the table that many of them are just too exhausted to expose their children to what families in the suburbs do that aren't under the pressures of poverty. So I have long felt that we need to surround each at-risk child or each child of promise, because they have great promise, with a mentor who will teach them by example not by lectures on middle-class values, what the world has to offer them. Well, I would say this. I would say that if you're looking for a common denominator among young people who are economically disadvantaged, it's lack of hope and lack of understanding of what they can become if they make the right choices in life. Too many young people, and this is a generalization, too many young people of whatever race, religion, gender, national origin, feel that they want to be sports stars. I certainly did when I was young. But after that, they have no plan B. It's hard to grow up today. It's a lot harder than it was when I came along. They've had so many people come in and out of their lives. What they need is consistency and a mentorship. I don't want to leave the impression that I'm saying parents are bad, because they're not. I have met very few people, unless they have mental health issues or horrible drug problems, that don't love their children. I'm simply saying that too many parents today, and unfortunately too many grandparents, are so consumed with day-to-day survival that they don't have the energy to parent like others do. Because raising a child is hard work. We all say that the young people are our future. And of course, that's true. Yet we don't invest the time with young people that we should. You know, for example, if I would take a young person down to my courthouse, it's not my courthouse, the courthouse, and show them what we do and tell them what they have to do to be a judge or be a lawyer. And if I could impress upon them that the choices they make today, even though they're 11 or 12 years old, can impact their life. And if they can see, not by lecture, what child listens to a lecture, but by example or watching other people, and they could become excited about their future. They would do better in school, and the whole community would rise, because a rising tide, here's a cliche, does lift all boats. There is racism, but when you and I were growing up, racism could stop you in your tracks. You can do this, you can do that, but don't even think of doing this, that, or the other thing. Now, if you prepare yourself, if you make the right choices, racism is a bad pain in the neck, but it can't stop you if you make the right choices and if you work. I know in my profession, law firms want to diversify their lawyers because their client base is diverse. And never forget that integration doesn't guarantee equality. Integration has to be coupled with inclusion. The mere fact that a law firm hires two extraordinarily bright African-American law school graduates is only half the battle. They have to include those new associates in the work of the firm. They have to give them meaningful work to do. They have to introduce them to their clients, have them work on the client's cases. And too many people achieve a numerical quota and sit back and say, look at us. But they haven't coupled integration or diversity with inclusion. You said earlier that most of the people distrust the courts. I think that's absolutely true, and I think it's the fault of judges and lawyers because we don't explain ourselves. We don't. We operate behind this curtain. And we say, well, if you want to find out why I did something, read my opinion. And that's not fair to the public. I can explain why I handled a given case the way I did without in any way defaming the person whose case I decided or explaining what judges look for when they're making decisions. My colleagues don't do enough of that. I can't just sentence people and say, good luck with the rest of your life. I have to try to make the justice system as fair as it can be. I have to, when I sentence people, I can't just forget them. I have to try to help them when they come home. And if I can't help them, I have to help other people. It's just part of my job.